Are you ready? So, who was LeMay?
LeMay was focused on only one thing: target destruction. Most Air Force generals could tell you how many planes they had, how many tons of bombs they dropped, or whatever the hell it was, but he was the only person that I knew in the senior command of the Air Force who focused solely on the loss of his crews per unit of target destruction.
Where were you? Where were you?
I was on the island of Guam, in his command, in March of 1945. In that single night, we burned to death 100,000 Japanese civilians in Tokyo, men, women, and children.
Were you aware this was going to happen?
Well, I was part of a mechanism that in a sense recommended it.
What was your role? What was your job exactly? Could you tell us?
I analyzed bombing operations and how to make them more efficient, i.e., not more efficient in the sense of killing more, but more efficient in weakening the adversary. I wrote one report analyzing the efficiency of the B-29 operations. The B-29 could get above the fighter aircraft, above the air defense, so the loss rate would be much less. The problem was, the accuracy was also much less.
So, you told LeMay to throw the bomb, right?
Now, I don't want to suggest that it was my report that led to, I'll call it, the firebombing.
Okay, so you had nothing to do with it.
It isn't that I'm trying to absolve myself of blame for the firebombing. I don't want to suggest that it was I that put in LeMay's mind that his operations were totally inefficient and had to be drastically changed. But anyhow, that's what he did. He took the B-29s down to 5,000 feet, and he decided to bomb with firebombs.
Excuse me, sir, but are you trying to evade our questions? What did the crew thought about it? What did the crew thought about this whole deal?
I participated in the interrogation of the B-29 bomber crews that came back that night. A room full of crewmen and intelligence interrogators. The captain got up, young captain, and said, "God damn it, I'd like to know who the son of a bitch was that took this magnificent airplane designed to bomb from 23,000 feet, and he took it down to 5,000 feet, and I lost my wingman." He was shot and killed.
Sir, now talk us about LeMay, please. How was he?
LeMay spoke in monosyllables. I never heard him say more than 2 words in sequence. It was basically yes, no, yep. That's all the hell. That was all he said. And LeMay was totally intolerant of criticism. He never engaged in discussion with anybody. He stood up. "Why are we here? Why are we here? You lost your wingman. It hurts me as much as it does you. I sent him there. And I've been there. I know what it is. But you lost one wingman, and we destroyed Tokyo.
The choice of incendiary bombs, where did that come from?
I think the issue is not so much incendiary bombs. I think the issue is, in order to win a war, should you kill 100,000 people in one night by firebombing or any other way? LeMay's answer, clearly yes. McNamara, do you mean to say that instead of killing 100,000, burning to death 100,000 in that one night, we should have burned to death a lesser number or none, and then had our soldiers cross the beaches in Tokyo and been slaughtered in the tens of thousands? Is that what you're proposing? Is that moral? Is that wise? Why was it necessary to drop the nuclear bomb if LeMay was burning up Japan? And he went on from Tokyo to firebomb other cities.
Proportionally to the US, how was the destruction in Japan?
58% of Yokohama. Yokohama is roughly the size of Cleveland. 58% of Cleveland destroyed. Tokyo is roughly the size of New York. 51% of New York destroyed. 99% of the equivalent of Chattanooga, which was Toyama. 40% of the equivalent of Los Angeles, which was Nagoya. This was all done before the dropping of the nuclear bomb, which, by the way, was dropped by LeMay's command. Proportionality should be a guideline in war.
What was his deal with this President Truman? What was the president's perspective of all the war?
I don't fault Truman for dropping the nuclear bomb. The U.S.-Japanese War was one of the most brutal wars in all of human history. Kamikaze pilots, suicide, unbelievable. What one can criticize is that the human race prior to that time and today has not really grappled with what are, I'll call it, the rules of war. Was there a rule, Ann, that said you shouldn't bomb, shouldn't kill, shouldn't burn to death 100,000 civilians in a night?
So finally, what were the boundaries? How far you could go?
LeMay said if we'd lost the war, we'd all have been prosecuted as war criminals. And I think he's right. He, and I'd say I, were behaving as war criminals. LeMay recognized that what he was doing would be thought immoral if his side had lost. But what makes it immoral if you lose and not immoral if you win?
Me ayudó a comprender la historia de una manera más amena, ya por el proceso de ver videos, comentar en clase, la exposición del maestro. Creo que todo eso hace que la clase se vuelva más amena, más divertida y que entre la opinión de todos hagamos una conjunción de la sabiduría en el salón de clases.
Gracias a este curso he aprendido a no solo dejarme llevar por lo que me dijeron mis maestros en secundaria y prepa. He conocido el otro lado de la historia, con los trabajos en equipo, aprendí más.
Algo que sin duda alguna aprendí durante este curso fue aguantarme las ganas de ir al baño. Mi reloj biológico no tuvo más que esperar. También todos los consejos de vida que el profesor nos ha dado, vaya que han funcionado. En general, consejos de vida, aguantar mi reloj biológico y enseñanzas de historia del mundo en general, perfecto.